Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience, but we do have round two now ready to go. I can hear myself through Snickersnacks. How you doing, girl?
We are good to go.
Excellent to hear. So, that was quite the extended music break, but we do have game number two ready to roll. If you guys refresh your browser, you will see the title, Round 2, HeartKaren versus Pixelheart. And I hear the sounds of war going off over here, and we're going to turn on the anti-pick. So, we are in the bottom half of the brackets. It does look like Team Awinia was defeated in the first round, as well as Team Talon Baconhawk, which is an amazing team name, by the way.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Yeah, we're gonna have the picks and bans come out. Same format just as before. We're gonna have the normal 6 bans, the whole bunch of picks, and we're gonna get into hopefully something a bit closer than the 20-minute game that we saw Team Applefire perform. And they're up against... Who are they up against? They're up against Team Parenthesis over on the Raise Your Weapon Media channel. But this round, Pixelheart and HeartKaren. FourCourtJester here with Snickersnacks. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Who do we got for bans, Snicker?
We of course have the perma-banned Rengar and Diana for this tournament's purposes. We've got an Alistar ban, a Malphite ban, and a Shen ban. Those are all very, very typical bans. You see Alistar, Malphite running jungle or top sometimes. They're very strong picks, very tanky bruisers, so they're going to be taken out, along with Taric. And I'm thinking that Taric might be a consideration towards somebody on the blue side that plays a lot of Taric, perhaps. Maybe they did a little bit of research on that one.
Well, targeted bans are always very useful in terms of trying to get that upper hand over your opponents. Diana, though, as I did mention, I mean, she is an extremely strong laner. Rengar being banned out is not too much of a surprise, of course. He's new. Nobody wants to deal with him. And have you seen the YouTube video of guaranteed first blood on Rengar every game?
I have not seen that video.
It is pretty accurate, to be honest. It's just his empower is just ridiculously overpowered at this point. Once you get your empower, you just hide in a bush, wait for your prey to walk by, jump on out, get off the huge extra damage bonus that the empower allows, and all of a sudden, you know, you've lost 75% of your hit points. It kind of works like that.
It's my personal favorite, of course, Blitzcrank support. He's always been very strong. He's always been underestimated or just not played a whole lot because he does require that you land those Qs, you land those hooks regularly. So seeing a Blitzcrank pick in a tournament shows a lot of confidence with him as support. And again, we of course have the Amumu jungle pick. He's an extremely strong jungler. That ult is clutch in a lot of situations with team fights. We're going to see another jungle, really defensive early jungle with him either at blue or at red, with the rest of his team defending him because, again, if the blue side takes that initiative to invade on him as the game starts and manages to get that blue or red away from him, he is going to be set back pretty significantly and the ganks are going to be very slow coming from him.
Well, we did see Amumu do some good work in combination with the top lane in the last game that we did do. What almost feels like an hour ago, my goodness. But yeah, Amumu, still, you know, he's still king of the jungle in my heart. Of course, looking at Princess Jovial, that Nautilus is a good contender for, you know, world's best jungler.
Yeah, he's definitely got a really good combination of CC. He can take the hits. You give him Heart of Gold and boots, and he can pretty much run the full length of the map and pick up assists and kills here and there, helping with late ganks.
Yep, always a good time picking up free kills and assists. That's an ace in my pocket. But yeah, blue team, they're solidifying out. Does look like Morgana, Nautilus, Sona support in the bottom with Ezreal. One of my favorite combos in the game. I truly do love seeing a Sona in that support, and I'm always touched to see when M5 still runs their Sona. Yes, we can blame them for getting her nerfed into the ground, but she still has a special place in my heart. Ziola maybe picking up a Riven to round things off, and that will be our blue team.
Yeah, we see the Ezreal Sona is of course very aggressive in terms of damage output early on in the game. Ezreal, a very strong early game laner. The Graves pick, his passive is going to give him that extra armor in lane while he's last hitting, and we've got Blitzcrank's mana shield, so they're going to have to set up some pretty hard, aggressive early opportunities to pick off either Blitzcrank or Graves before their armor really gets going and they're unkillable.
Just saying hi to some of the celebrities there in chat right now. We got DigiWombat and the League of Girls creator Awinia sitting there looking pretty in our chat. So make sure you say hi to them, guys. And you know what? We're still waiting for this last pickup here. Kennen, I do have my anti-cheat up. Yes, thank God. Kennen, what do you think? Top lane, or mid lane in this kind of comp?
I don't know, and I don't think, to be honest, that Purple side knows what they're going to do either. They're picking really late in the game here. They're probably still debating it.
Ooh.
We do have a Darius pick. That's a very interesting pick in terms of already having Graves in the team composition.
Dunk Master version 2, that Darius very likely going to be in the top lane. So Darius versus Riven. Again, you know, Riven is a very strong laner. We saw her in game number 1 unfortunately get shut down by Xin Zhao, but now up against a Darius. You know, Darius does have a lot of sustained damage as well as that high burst with that ultimate of his. Very interested to see how that combination is going down. But of course, Graves and Ezreal. Ezreal's really kind of come back a little bit. I mean, Graves is definitely a top tier AD, but now with the new version of Ezreal, it seems to be that people are going with Essence Flux over Mystic Shot, you know, trying to win out those trades. Ezreal with a pocket healer over that Blitz. It's really going to come down to that Blitz.
Yeah, definitely going to need Blitzcrank to do what he does best, land those hooks, take control of the brush, threaten Ezreal and Sona, force them off of the creep wave so that Ezreal can't get those last hits in, and hopefully even push him out of experience range, which would pretty much be the last nail in the coffin for that lane.
Alright, so just stream delay going down, take away the anti-cheat so you guys can see exactly what we're rocking, bring up a little bit of music here, and what are we rocking? It does look like a lot of repeat flash and ignites. We only have the one exhaust this round. That's going to be on Pixelheart, which is a funny name. Pixelheart. But yeah, I mean, last time we saw a mix of exhausts and ignites. No heals this round. You know, we did have Tristana AD carry in game number 1 with the heal, but this round is just pure exhaust, ignites, and flashes. Wow.
Yeah, both teams very aggressive team compositions, looking to create those early lane phase opportunities for mid lane to go roaming. Kennen, of course, has amazing mobility, so running him mid is very essential to using the jungle as a ganker for bot lane while Kennen simultaneously goes top, or vice versa. Love seeing those cross-map simultaneous ganks. Very confusing to the other team, very hard to defend.
Now I'm just looking at the kind of the synergies we got going here. We do got the Morgana ultimate, which is going to be a pretty decent leash, especially if we can get that off in combination with the Nautilus knockup and the Symphony that Dori Gomdori is going to be able to supply with her ultimate. But at the same time, it could be really deadly with that Yordle squad on Team Purple. I mean, Pixelheart running Kennen, combo that with the Amumu snare, throw down a Graves ultimate, and even a silence from Blitzcrank could lead into some nice pentakill dunk masters from Suij and Eki. But either way, looks like both teams well picked in this round.
Yeah, nobody is going for any particular, sustain outlast the other team compositions. Don't have a heavy, tanky bruiser composition on either team. Very well-rounded, very oriented towards doing lots of damage, especially considering the early game Sona Ezreal. Graves also does pretty significant damage output in terms of the first levels into level 6, getting his ultimate, so we're going to see a lot of really aggressive, really good plays, I think, this time around.
Well, we're about to find out. 30 seconds and counting. Guys, this is the League of Girls Judgement. We are in round number 2. There is a third round after this one. It is only an 8-team tournament. We will be simulcasting that with the other channel, which is Raise Your Weapon Media here on Twitch TV. And they are actually covering the other game as well. So if you're here to support your favorites, be sure to pick between us and Raise Your Weapon Media. And, of course, you are supporting League of Girls, whichever decision you do decide to do. I'm the FourCourtJester. With me here, Snickersnacks. And, Snickersnacks, I hear you run a website.
I do run a website. It's snickersnacks.com. I used to write a pretty significantly researched League of Legends articles, really heavy on metagame and analysis. Really big fan of that, so I'm going to be providing you guys a lot of analysis of what are good options for the teams, what are some good lane positionings, warding spots, what the teams should be focusing on as we go through early, mid to late game. And of course, if you want to check out my website, I still have all of my League of Legends articles up. The one that's the most popular, I believe, is the significant, probably more than 10,000 word support guide that runs down through every single support and item option.
10,000 words. Wow.
Yeah, that took
Analysis
me
up to the
a
hip.
significant period of time to write, but it's very thorough. And I'm in the process of transitioning my website over to StarCraft 2. I'm branching out in that direction, helping Raise Your Weapon Media get more involved in StarCraft 2 events and tournaments, and hopefully casting StarCraft 2 stuff as well in the future.
Well, Lord knows that there are a lot of tournaments out there, both for League of Legends as well as StarCraft 2, but it's good to see that Raise Your Weapon Media trying to bring all of that media to the viewers. So I do know they are live on site at one of the conference halls that this is taking place on. Of course, broadcasting from my basement, FourCourtJester. If you've ever seen anything, you do know I kind of perpetually live in my man cave. But we are just waiting for the guys to load on in here. It's all got down to that Ziola. And, you know, not as many skins as I would have expected. I think we got a little spoiled in game number 1. 9-skin game.
I am a pretty big fan of the Baking Morgana skin, gotta be honest.
Sorry, I had to bash the help in chat for a minute there, but game loading in. Goodbye, audio. Hello, spectator. And in your top right corner here, guys, Team Pixelheart with, I guess, some kind of sister, Pixelfart. Although, I do believe heart is better than fart at this point. They're going to be your red team top right. Bottom left, however, Team HeartKaren. Both of these teams have now won one round here in the Judgment, thus the matchup here in round number 2. And again, game number 1, we did see more passive openings. They were both very defensive. There was no invades. I do kind of like the style that Pixelheart is kind of rocking right now. With that Blitzcrank, it's very definite that they might go for an invade.
Blue team playing it safe. HeartKaren definitely wants to lock down that blue, wants to guard against the invade. Looks like red team is trying to make up their mind as to whether they want to invade or not. They might take Big Wraith, they might wrap around completely and go up towards blue, or they might just fall back to their own blue and play it defensively, so we'll see what happens.
Well, at this point, neither team is going for the advance, although we do have some pings going down, more towards the bottom golems, so I do kind of expect that Team Red's going to be making their way down there. If they can get in here and steal this red away from Nautilus, could be a bit of an advantage, because he won't discover it for a good amount of time.
Yeah, Nautilus definitely has a middle-of-the-road jungle, doesn't do it particularly fast or slow. So if they can pick off red, that would give them at least a 60-second or so advantage for Amumu.
Well, it doesn't look like they're actually interested in that. We do have the recalls going back, and there is no advance here on the golems or into the red at all. So does look like more of a standard opener. Princess Jovial already picking up her wolves, go straight for that blue. We might see a little bit of a delay upon the buffs here for Team Red, but nothing really too crippling at this point. And it does look like laning is going to be just as normal. We got the AD and support in the bottom. Both the top lanes are heading there, and it does look like Morgana versus Kennen in the mid.
Nautilus did take wolves before he took his blue. Amumu has not had the advantage of getting wolves, so he is going to be behind just ever so slightly. We'll see if we can make it up as we go along here in the early game.
Yep, just business as normal for the next few minutes. It will be a slight advantage to that Nautilus because I say that, but he's actually wasting a little bit of time up top. He went for that blue, went straight for the gank. Ziola trying to provide some damage combo on top of Darius, but it does look like combo is going to be bringing under half with an ignite ticking down on top of it. It won't be enough to pick him off, but it will be enough to put him on the defensive. Unfortunately, however, Nautilus now a little bit behind in his own jungle.
We did see Darius's flash burned. He's going to have to play it safe until he gets his health back up and eats through that pot.
Well, maybe Princess Jovial not interested in creeping whatsoever. Is going to make a bit of a pit stop here in the mid, but it will not avail to quite anything. Whereas Nympho, however, he's done his golems, his wolves, now he has the blue and the red, and sitting at half health, he could be in prime position to say hello to that top lane.
We've got wards down in both bushes on red side, blue bush, aggressive ward in red side's bush bot lane. Graves took a little bit of damage from Ezreal. Ezreal's having a fine time of last hitting, pushing that creep wave up towards them. Gets the Essence Flux. Graves having to back off just a little bit.
Yeah, Graves falling a little bit under half. He did not go for the typical boots and pots, instead going for the Doran's Blade, and that's kind of risky, especially when he does not have that sustained support. He does have the more aggressive support of this Blitzcrank, and unfortunately for them, it is not working in their favor quite yet. Maybe down the line, after a little bit of farm, but time will tell. Looking at Ziola top, however, still losing these exchanges one-on-one against Darius. This is what I meant about that Dunk Master. You get him low enough, especially with that blood ticking off, and after level 6, it could be some really nice up and down slam dunk in action.
Ziola definitely playing it a little bit neurotically, I would say, shielding herself in anticipation.
She's going to have to use that dash to get on out of that. Almost barely getting hit by that Suijin Heki pull. If that pull had landed, could have been a much different story, but, you know, what are our creep scores at this point for our lanes?
We've got Graves behind on Ezreal. That is to be expected. They've been taking damage from Ezreal's harass, and Graves hasn't been able to keep up with him.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Ezreal right now. He is level 3, 1 point in the Mystic Shot, but 2 in the Essence Flux, and this is kind of what I was getting back to a bit earlier. With that new Mystic Shot, you know, taking a backseat, it is going to be Essence Flux skilled up first, Mystic Shot second, and this way that, you know, every time they land that Essence Flux, it's the cue to start trading, because that reduced attack speed, plus, of course, the rising spell force for your own attack speed means you're going to start winning out a lot of those. And you can see Silence just looking in strong form in this bottom lane.
Yeah, Blitzcrank definitely needs to land a hook and get Ezreal or Sona underneath that turret taking damage in order to make up the health missing.
I'm taking a look at the mid as well. Morgana up 10 creeps over top of Kennen. Kennen still with his health potions. Morgana down to 1, but overall just a fairly farming kind of lane. Nothing really too big going around there. Darius is now returning top after a little bit of a shopping spree. Got the boots and the Doran's Blades, as well as that ward. Does not want to get any more surprises from Nautilus. And, you know, people say a lot about Nautilus versus Blitzcrank, but I might have to get back to you on that one. Great first blood coming down from Ezreal. That flash just not in time to dodge that Mystic Shot, as Ezreal is able to, what looked like, kill someone after he didn't shoot anywhere near him. But kudos right there to Silent Stream. Getting that first blood. Should be going back to town fairly soon, and we're going to see some bottom lane action from here on out.
Yeah, we've got Amumu creeping around. Nautilus can see him, knows what's up, decides to go in on him because he has Morgana right there. And Amumu's out of mana, so he's not going to be able to do a whole lot of damage right now.
And he's crying like a baby because he is a Mumu. Yeah, nothing going down in the mid was a good effort, but up top, however, could be a different story. Ziola getting dunked! No flash coming out for her. But again, you know, a lot of these flashes used to projectile pop, but if you wait too long for your flashes, guys, and their skills shoot before, it will follow you to their grave, as we have now a 1-1 score on both teams. Princess Jovial going to be finding out this Amumu could go for the kill, but is only level 5, does not have that level 6, and it is going to only force out that flash from Amumu, but still, it's going to be stopping him in his tracks, and he got hit a pretty decent amount of hit points there as well. Wow, the continued action in mid. Pixelheart going in for the kill, but it is not going to be to any kind of avail, and now it is going to be Jovial coming back with a little of a love tap. I'm not too sure it's going to be enough to take him down. Both parties on Team Blue are reasonably out of mana, but here comes that Darius. It is going to ward off this Nautilus, and maybe business is normal from here on out.
We do have Kennen particularly low. Morgana low also doesn't have a whole lot of mana. Nautilus is going to go in for the invade, knows that Amumu isn't there to defend it, wards it, and goes for it with Morgana backing him up. Amumu probably not going to be able to do a whole lot considering he is only level 5 still.
Oh,
Blitzcrank misses the hook.
Blitzcrank might be missing the hook, but Pixelheart taking the kill. A little bit of a revenge coming out from Silence with that far-off Mystic Shot, but Nautilus, the big daddy of the deep, is going to be dropping in return as well. So doesn't matter really who picked up the blue, because now it's going to be sitting on Mr. Graves. Graves taking home a kill in that exchange. So was a good idea. I did like where HeartKaren was at, but mana pools just were not agreeable, and there's just too many Pixelhearts to deal with.
Really glad that Graves managed to get that blue. It's going to mean more harass, more Qs, more dashing, more pokes on Ezreal, able to force the lane back away from his own turret, get the last hits, and hopefully we'll see him come back, at least recover a little bit more CS. Ezreal does have Sheen already, has 2 kills under his belt, so he's still playing it very aggressively.
Woo, Sheen first? Very strange. It's not that I dislike it, it's just, I guess I'm just so used to seeing Phage first coming out for Ezreal. That extra slow and the hit points allows him to trade just that much easier in that bot lane. Looking at Ziola, however, he is gonna get dunked again. Siege and Heki on a roll in that top lane, and you can never really discount that Darius. He gets you low with that bleeds, those combos, and he has an ultimate, guys. The guillotine is gonna go up and down many times this round, so well done on his part, or I should say her part, up top.
Red team pinging, wanting them to go in. Sona ult, Kennen comes in, Blitzcrank is down, and we've lost Ezreal as well. Sona's trying desperately to get away from Kennen. Kennen doesn't care, and Graves cleans it up.
Wow, beautiful stun on that last shuriken coming up from Pixelheart. Is able to land the 2-for-1 exchange. Sure, we lost a Blitzcrank, but he's only a robot, guys. Don't feel too bad about him. He doesn't have a soul. But he will be back in soon in a good order. But 6-3 does look like Pixelheart off to a really good start. About 600 gold up, 10 minutes in. Not nearly as one-sided as we saw in our first round, but, you know, does look like Ezreal's now finished up that Phage. That's a little bit more what I was expecting, but he is skipping tier 2 boots, whereas Graves is, well, I guess he's not rich enough to actually finish off his boots. Oh, he hasn't gone back. Never mind.
Yeah, Graves definitely very underfarmed. Ezreal about twice as much creep score as Graves. He's rushing that Triforce, which is the right choice here in terms of winning the lane. Knows that Blitzcrank can't do a whole lot, but he is by himself. Sona's not there to save him. Ezreal trying to get away from Graves. Well, looks like everybody's just going to back off and go back to laning.
Even 2 versus 1 does look like Dream is able to ward off the potential death on his part, so he will sit at 3-1 at this point, but I want to focus on Ziola top. Ziola did get herself those Ninja Tabby, but I'm not too sure it's going to matter to Pixelheart, as she's going to be getting sandwiched in the middle between both Nautilus as well as Morgana. But I'm just a little more concerned about Riven. I mean, Riven with the Ninja, but then she went Vampiric. No armor whatsoever.
Riven probably just sticking to her traditional build, trying to get that Bloodthirster going. Doesn't have the damage to pull it off, doesn't have the armor to pull this off against Darius either. Having a tough time holding down her lane. She's going to need some serious attention from Nautilus if she's going to be able to hold that turret down.
Oh man, what a beautiful Blitzcrank grab is going to be landing a kill here for Charlotte in that bottom lane. So that is exactly what we need Pixelheart to start doing. Bringing that Sona to her death under the tower. Excellent play by the Pixelheart team. 7-4 as the score, and as I said, they are creeping ahead a little bit here in the gold terms, as Ziola is still getting repeatedly just pushed back in this top lane.
What blue side is losing in terms of kills, they are gaining in CS. Nautilus comes in.
He is going to miss that anchor, but, you know, Ziola, they're going to try the combo. Oh, what a great knock-up there from the Nautilus ultimate. Is going to bait out the flash as well, but he is ignited. Now, here comes that Amumu. Do we have an Amumu ult? Can we see an Amumu ult? Yes, we can, and that's going to be a dunked Ziola going down yet again. 0-3 for that Riven.
Just incredible plays over and over again by Darius. Riven was perhaps somewhat of an unfortunate pick in terms of skill level and matchup. 1v1, Riven just can't keep up with Darius at this point. He's got items on her, he's got CS on her.
Quite a bit of CS, actually. Look at that, 35 to 83. That's equivalent of 10 lanes, or sorry, 10 waves, I believe. That's hurtful.
Ezreal still playing it very aggressive in bot lane. He's got the right idea. He wants to get that Triforce out. He's almost at 100 CS, about 13 and a half minutes into the game. Kennen and Morgana just kind of doing their thing, farming. Morgana perhaps half a level ahead of Kennen.
We do got some pings going down. Amumu desperately wants to give off this blue to Kennen, but Kennen is having none of it. Sad little Mummy will be able to take that blue, start his jungling just that much quicker. He does have that Philo Stone, and there we go, items. But it does not look like he's going for a Heart of Gold. Looks more to me like an Aegis.
Seeing every lane play it pretty safe in terms of going in for the kill. Graves and Blitzcrank, even though they have the armor at this point, still not wanting to push out. Still don't have any ward coverage. Sona has commandeered River in terms of warding.
We do got some pings going down here on top of Pixelheart. He is going to be popping his ultimate, but he's going to land straight into that Sona ult. And HeartKaren able to pick up the kill there. The Ignite's going to tick her down to 34 hit points, so very close to dropping, but you know, going all in that middle lane is exactly what Morgana needed to do. 5-8 as the score. She does have 2 kills to her name, and for anyone that did notice the stream stutter a little bit, I accidentally put us to 0.5 speed, so we should be okay now.
Suijin Heki on Darius, really harassing Ribbon, pressing her up against that turret. He knows better than to take it down because he's having a fine time farming freely. Nautilus not paying any attention to top lane really, has come up top maybe 2 or 3 times total so far in this game. We're at the 15-minute mark, so we're going to see red team start putting on some pressure top, trying to take down that turret so that Darius can roam the map, take care of mid lane, get some ganks in, maybe some assists, maybe some kills.
Yeah, but every time Nautilus has come top, the ganks have been defeated, so, you know, Princess Jovia at this point might just be trying to weigh the best option in terms of helping her team. I mean, if she keeps coming top and no ganks are going down, that's a lot of wasted time. It will add up. And, you know, Amumu, on the flip side, 0-0-2 for him. You know, he does have that jungle farm as well as those gold pretends ticking away.
Still haven't seen any jungle invasion from red team. We saw that Nautilus try to make a play for blue about 5 minutes ago. Other than that, everybody's been sticking to their own sides of the map. Blitzcrank, again, doesn't land the hook, can't get anybody under that turret to take extra damage, having a really rough protecting Graves. Graves is forced back.
Man, I didn't even see the health bars drop on my screen, but down goes Yola, that top lane once again. Did see Nautilus creeping up here and the ping's going down, but you know what? It does look like Darius is going to be our honey badger this round. It's not going to be that Jhin, it's going to be Darius, because he gives no cares, and he is up 4-0 and a turret in his lane.
Amumu looking to see what's going on bottom lane, still hasn't come in to really help them out with any ganks. Still looking to take his jungle, keep up in CS, keep up in levels. Morgana and Kennen still doing the farm. Still just kind of poking at each other, not really going in for anything serious.
Rod of Ages on HeartKaren, whereas we have the Will of the Ancients completed on Kennen. So we do see more of a sustain build and then more of a tanky build on our 2 mids. How do you think that's going to work out for them?
I am wondering why Kennen decided to go straight into Will of the Ancients. He's got some AP coming from Amumu, but Amumu doesn't seem to be building AP. He's going more standard, Philosopher's Stone, Mercury's Treads, going to be more a tank. We've got Blitzcrank, who also doesn't have a whole lot of items aside from his typical support fare. Doesn't really have a whole lot of AP, so curious to see what Kennen is going to do with the Will of the Ancients up against Morgana.
Well, so far it hasn't done him too bad, hasn't done him great either. I'm actually more interested in Silence. Silence, still without the tier 2 boots, is gonna defeat that grab, but he does have that Trinity Force at the 16-minute mark. He had that. Look at the aggression in this bottom lane, but here comes the Nautilus. Anchor going in with the combo stun from our Sona. It's going to be a quick 2 kills for blue team as we are going to have our flashes go down. Charlo is looking to be up really hard against that tower, and Silence with the double going 3 for 0 in this bot lane. That's really going to bring a lot of cash to the blue team table, and you can see immediately the pings going down for Dragon.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't play a whole lot of League, but you want to know more about the basic mechanics of the laning phase, definitely taking that gank opportunity, getting the kills in, forcing them into a situation where they can't contest Dragon, and then picking it up is excellent play.
That's a lot of extra gold to their name, and in this case, we've actually now taken the gold lead for Team HeartKaren. They are now 1,000 gold up, despite being a tower down, and a few extra kills, some good creep scores in some of our lanes, and that global gold from Dragon. It all adds up very nicely to take the slight lead. The only problem is this Morgana has no idea that there's a Darius waiting for her in the jungle.
Yeah, we see the bottom lane turret going down, good timing on it. They're approaching the 19-minute mark here. Amumu's going in on Nautilus, while Kennen is harassing Morgana. Darius going in there for the kill, doesn't give any care towards that turret damage.
I think he kind of did at the end there.
Taking complete command of that mid lane, saw the Sona, probably wanted to back out because he didn't want to get ulted and take more damage than was necessary.
Well, we thought it might be a pretty awesome chase through a turret. Actually ended really quick when we used, looking at Darius, yeah, Darius deciding just not to go into that. I mean, we had Kennen just jump in there with Flash and Ultimate, the Slicing Maelstrom, but Darius just not committing. A little bit of a misplay.
Riven is free to farm top lane. Darius completely leaving, showing himself mid, staying there while Kennen goes back. She's able to farm up a little bit, still level 11, which is a little bit unfortunate on her part, but she has a chance to catch up, only 2 levels behind Darius.
Well, if there's one thing you don't want to do, it's let your lane that you dominated free farm, especially if you're a Nasus. But Nasus aside, any kind of free farm that you can give to your enemy after stomping them just means that they're setting up for that awesome comeback later on down the line. Now, we did have that bottom tower drop as well. Silence able to take that one. He went home happy with another BF sword. Well, I guess that's his first BF sword, but it's his second big item that he's going towards, and Bloodthirst before boots. Oh, never mind. We got the anchor going in, landing on top of Pixelheart, but I think they're just too close to the tower to really have any kind of lasting effect right there.
Yeah, we see top lane Riven able to catch up, gonna wail on that turret. Simultaneous, Graves is bottom, getting that last hitting in, trying to catch up to Ezreal. Unfortunately, blue team definitely has the advantage here in terms of damage output, in terms of control of the minion wave, able to pin red team up against their turret, and there's not a whole lot they can do about it right now.
It does kind of look like they are on the back foot after some really good plays at the early beginning, but there goes the anchor into the combo, the ultimate coming out, good knockup. It is going to be enough to take down Mumu as they take the turret. It's not going to be enough. That flash double kill coming out for Silence. He's going to go straight on into this Kennen, does not care whatsoever for these towers, but could be singing another tune, but never mind. Triple comes out for him, and a stolen Quadra. HeartKaren able to take that one. The only surviving member of Team Pixelheart there was that Darius, simply because he was just not there.
That Ezreal is making amazing decision choices right now, deciding that he wants to go in turret diving, knowing that the rest of his team is going to back him up. Darius falls easily to 5 grouping mid, gonna take that inhibitor turret. Nobody there to defend it. Blitzcrank and Amumu can't do a whole lot. We do have Amumu's ult up, so as soon as we see Graves and some other team members come up, they're going to push that lane back out, but they lose the inhibitor at 22 minutes into this game, and blue team now has the gold and the kill advantage.
That was just an amazing series of plays coming out. That's exactly what HeartKaren needed, and you can see we went from a 600 gold difference to 7,000. That's the difference there. And Ace, we didn't drop a single teammate, got a whole bunch of buffs, and 3 turrets and an inhibitor. That was an amazing run, and that is exactly what HeartKaren needed. They are now virtually in command of this game. No matter what Darius' status is, deaths are deaths. You can't 5 versus 1 at your current state. And I do like how he went for that Ezreal, but Ezreal was just so smart and kited him right through the entire team. Gotta say, that was an impressive play.
Ezreal definitely takes advantage of the max range hitting Essence Flux and so on. He did get the gold advantage off of the Darius kill. Darius had 4 kills under his belt. Ezreal gets the gold. Ezreal rushed that Triforce because he had the advantage bottom lane, and we see how that transitions into the mid game. During team fights, he's able to pick up those kills, able to get even more gold built into a Bloodthirster, and is going to be very, very difficult to handle. The rest of his team going to gather around him, try to protect him as much as possible while he's trying to output as much damage.
That's interesting. The blue actually reset on the attempts there, but I'm looking at Ezra. He's about to crack 10,000 gold, and he is far and above everyone else in the game. And as you say, I mean, this is going to become not a League of Legends match. This is going to be Protect the Ezreal game. Have you ever played Chase the TMO? Kind of the same idea, except it's Ezreal and he's chasing you, because he is just so ridiculously far ahead. He went with cooldown boots as well.
Darius knows better, tries to flash away, tries to get everybody underneath his turret, but it's not enough to kill Ezreal. The 4 of them there to back him up, and they're able to take that turret down very easily. Blitzcrank and Amumu very hesitant to come in.
Don't blame him.
Don't have Kennen there with them, trying to defend that turret, going to have to put up a fight for this.
Well, they might be able to do this. Nautilus is going to be split pushing that mid, and it does look like Creep Wave will push in that bottom just ever so slightly. But it is going to be 2 more quick turrets dropping here to HeartKaren's team, as HeartKaren actually picks up the turret kill itself. Amumu going for that bandage, looking for that initiate, knowing that they've split up, but unfortunately he just gets juked out by Ziola, and 14-9, that gold lead is still getting bigger and bigger for Team HeartKaren.
I'm very surprised that Amumu and Blitzcrank, with their grabs, the Qs, and the ult from Amumu, did not try to defend that turret. It was a really good opportunity for them to make a little bit of headway.
Well, this is
HeartKaren's team's going in for the Baron right now. Red team has no idea what's going on. 3 of them showing themselves bottom. That is a prime opportunity to pick up Baron.
Yep. Cannon going for the check, but unfortunately there was nothing for him to check. We got the pings going down to the dragon, and you know, again, in the words of Artosis, when you're ahead, get more ahead. So they're going to clean that up. They could transition this nicely into a bottom push, but I'm looking at, again, some of these items that we have flowing. I mean, Ezreal obviously with that Bloodthirster Triforce. Do you think that's going to be a Guardian's Angel?
Not sure if he even needs to worry about it at this point. Not sure what items he's considering building, but it would be in his best interest to at least pick up some kind of damage mitigation, considering he is going to be the sole focus of red teams.
No, maybe not. He gets himself the pickaxe. Could be a Last Whisper. What else uses a pickaxe that he would actually get?
Looking at the map overall, blue team in a very good position. They have all of their lanes pushing. It's very, very important in the mid to late game to keep those lanes pushing. In the unfortunate event of an ace on either side, if your lanes are being pushed outward past the river, that will give your team the opportunity to get back up, respawn, and rejoin the rest of your teammates, while say red team would have a difficult time being able to push those lanes in and make any headway in the 60 seconds before the rest of the team comes back up again.
Kind of curious what Ezreal was shooting there, but maybe he's just shooting for the fun of it. He does have the blue buff. His ultimate will be up in fairly short order, but he didn't even use it on the lane. It looked like he was going off for a snipe on someone, but no one was low enough hit points really for it to count too much. But here's that bottom lane push we were looking for. Unfortunately, they're not going to be committing to it, and we do have a little over half of the time left on this Baron buff, so we still have about a 2-minute window to get some kind of big, crazy team fight done. But Ezreal sitting at 219 creeps and a lot of items, but you know, we gotta look at the other guys. Nautilus, boots of mobility coming out for that jungler. You see that more and more in the higher tier play, and of course he does have that Wit's End and that Aegis. Does not look like a Mumu went for that whatsoever. In fact,
we've got the transition into mid lane inhibitor. They're going to take that one down again. Looking at Ezreal with Sona's aura, he has 307 AD right now with 144 armor from that chain vest. Doesn't look like he needs to worry about building that into another item. Going to spend the rest of the gold that he's picking up from creep kills and assists and kills on more damage.
And remember, that's 310 damage with Sheen. That's a lot of extra damage on top of that. But, you know, a little bit of poke going down. We still do have this Baron buff ready to go, and you can see ever so slightly this tower starting to get chunked down a little bit. Pixelheart taking some harass, and, you know, if we can just win this poke war, it is going to get them low enough. Oh, what a great grab, landing on top of Dory Domgori, but it is not going to be enough. We have a Moo drop, that Ezreal picking that up. Dunkmaster going for that Ezreal kill, but it is just going to be a double kill for Silence, and now Pixelheart is going to be trying to dodge out. He will successfully dodge. Will he successfully live? Is another story. He does go down as well, and a quick 3-for-1 exchange. We lost Riven in there somewhere, but I'm not too sure it's even going to matter. Another grab comes out on top of Silence. Charlo, however, your days of glory are long behind you, as you are not able to even dent Silence. And another tower goes down, another inhibitor, and I gotta say, it's looking really good for Team HeartKaren to get out here into the finals.
Yeah, we're seeing, as I mentioned earlier, all lanes were pushing. They have the creep wave behind them. They have the ability to instantly transition into taking top turret and the inhibitor. Red team cannot defend against it, is trying to clear the minions off of the Nexus turrets, just waiting for everyone to get back up so that they can desperately try to defend.
Well, there goes all 3 inhibitors, so Team Red are going to have their hands full defending against these super minions, and, you know, 30 minutes into the game, you would expect that they'd be able to handle it for a short while. We still have a little bit of Baron buff, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, it is totally gone, but we still have between 3 and 4 minutes until the next Baron is up. So are we going to be biding our time, waiting for a Baron to push in, or are they just going to go have a little bit of a shopping spree and end the game?
Not sure, Blitzcrank, Kennen playing it very safe. Everybody kind of just sticking inside of their own base, not really wanting to push out, even though it's very clear that blue team has gone back to get their buffs, gone back to buy more items. See the Guardian Angel pick up on Ezreal, that's to be expected. He cannot die. If he goes down for good, it'll be a turnaround opportunity for red team, so he's going to grab that to make sure that he lives through the last push here.
Well, again, the team comp is just really nicely built around him. As you did say, we got the Nautilus knockup, we have a stun from Sona, and we have, of course, the leash into a hard stun from HeartKaren. It's going to be pretty easy if we do a 5-man bomb onto Ezreal to kind of get that kill. Plus, he has his own arcane shift and a flash on top of that for that positioning. So yeah, Guardian Angel, great for him. What are some of the other items we have, however? Sona with the Shurilius as well as the Iron Locket, making it even that much harder to kill an Ezreal despite having that Guardian Angel.
Going to see blue team creeping back up here again, knows that there is nothing left for red team to really defend aside from the Nexus and the 2 turrets, desperately trying to push off those super minions. Gonna creep back in here, get the tankiness in front of Ezreal so that he can do the damage, and hopefully we'll see this game close up here in another minute or 2.
Well, we'd have a Frozen Heart now fixed up on top of Riven, so she's beefed up a pretty decent amount, plus of course the slows, yet another tool to defend their team, and here is what could possibly be the game-ending push. Down goes the turret, a great Nautilus hook going in. It is going to force the ultimate out of Amumu as well as Sona, and that's going to be a very dead Yordo. Sujin Heki getting dunked himself. Unfortunately, he's just not in this game anymore. We do get a good grab on top of Sona, a few laser ticks, and she's looking not so hot, but Charlo just taking the damage. Look at this Ezreal picking up the kill inside of that fountain. Now Blitzcrank, he could have some fun here, but unfortunately the game is over for him. 20-10, 32-minute win with a 15,000 gold leak. Looked really good for HeartKaren.
Yep, turned into a game, like you said, of protect the Ezreal. They were very successful in doing that. The rest of their team was able to output enough damage. Morgana with the Rod of Ages, of course, and the Zhonya's putting out her own AP damage, able to clean up that with a very clear-cut win.
Clear cut is definitely what I would say. As soon as that mid-game fight turned around where they were able to pick out 3 turrets, an inhibitor, and an ace, it was just almost GG from that point on. So HeartKaren does move on into the finals, and guys, we're going to be doing a simulcast with our other partner channel, Raise Your Weapon Media, in order to do that. So you can listen here to FourCourtJester as well as Snickersnacks, or you can check out Pato and Highwind, the two main casters of Raise Your Weapon Media. But first, we are going to have to check in with the admins to find out what's going down for round number 3, if we're ready. And when we know, you'll know. So stick around, guys. FourCourtJester and Snickersnacks. We're not going anywhere. Hit us up in chat, and hope you guys enjoyed that, because we got one more game coming your way.